My parents said they could not get my son anything for Christmas this year because money was tight, but then my sister's kid unwrapped a brand new gaming console that I helped pay for, and when my dad told me my son would learn life is not fair, I quietly left and posted about it online the next day, which went viral and caused my entire family to panic. I am still processing what happened on Christmas, and I need to get this out somewhere. I am 34M and I have a 7-year-old son named Tyler. His mom passed away when he was 3 from cancer, and it has been just the two of us ever since. My family was supportive at first, but over the years things have changed in ways I did not expect. My sister Lauren is 29F, and she has a son named Braden who is also 7. Lauren has always been the favorite child, and I accepted that a long time ago. My parents bend over backwards for her and always have. When we were kids, she got the bigger room and the better gifts and more attention. I learned to live with it because what else could I do? But when Tyler's mom died, I thought things would change. I thought my parents would step up for their grandson who just lost his mother. They did for a while. My mom would come over and help with Tyler. My dad would take him to the park. Felt like we were a real family. But then Lauren had Braden and everything shifted back to her. The favoritism became really obvious once both boys were in school. My parents would go to all of Braden's events but miss Tyler's. They would post constantly about Braden on social media but barely mention Tyler. When I brought it up, my mom said I was being sensitive and that they loved both boys equally. But actions speak louder than words. Money has always been an issue in my family. My parents are not wealthy, but they are comfortable. They own their home and have decent retirement savings. I do okay as a project manager, but raising a kid alone in this economy is tough. I have to budget carefully, and we do not have money for extras most of the time. My sister, on the other hand, has always been bad with money. She works part-time and her husband works in sales, but they live beyond their means. They have a huge house they can barely afford, and they are always buying stuff they do not need. Then they come crying to my parents when they cannot pay their bills. And my parents always bail them out. About 3 months ago, my mom called me. She said they were helping Lauren and her husband catch up on some bills, and because of that, they would not be able to do big Christmas gifts this year. She said they felt terrible, but they could only do small token gifts for the grandkids. I told her I understood and that Tyler would be fine with whatever they could manage. Then she asked if I could contribute to a family fund for Christmas dinner. She said since they were stretched thin, it would help if everyone chipped in. I said sure, and I sent her $200. It was money I had been saving for Tyler's birthday in January, but I figured family comes first. She thanked me and said it would really help make the holiday special. 2 weeks before Christmas, my mom called again. She said Braden really wanted this new gaming console and Lauren could not afford it. She asked if I could loan them $150 and they would pay me back after the holidays. I hesitated because I knew I would never see that money again. But she guilt-tripped me, saying it was for my nephew and that Tyler would want his cousin to be happy. I sent the money. I felt sick doing it because I knew exactly what was happening. They were going to buy Braden an expensive gift while Tyler got nothing. But I convinced myself I was being paranoid and that my parents would not do that to their own grandson. I was wrong. Christmas Eve came and we went to my parents' house like we do every year. The place was decorated beautifully and there was a huge tree with presents underneath. Tyler was so excited. He had been talking about Christmas for weeks. He made a list for Santa, but it was modest stuff. Some books and art supplies and maybe a small toy. He is a good kid who does not ask for much. We had dinner and it was nice. Tyler played with Braden and they actually got along well. My sister was in a great mood and kept talking about how magical Christmas morning would be. My parents were friendly and everything seemed normal. I started to think maybe I had been wrong about everything. Then my dad pulled me aside. He said he wanted to talk to me before present time tomorrow. He said they felt really bad, but they only got Tyler a couple small things. He said money was tight because they had to help Lauren with an emergency car repair. He said he knew I would understand because I was the responsible one. The way he said it made me feel like being responsible was a punishment. I said it was fine and that Tyler would be happy with anything. My dad patted my shoulder and said Tyler was lucky to have a father who kept his expectations reasonable. That comment stuck with me. Like my kid should expect less because his mom died and his dad has to work hard to support him alone. Christmas morning, we all gathered around the tree. My parents made a big breakfast and the kids were bouncing off the walls with excitement. Present opening started and I watched as Braden opened gift after gift. Toys and clothes and games and books. The pile in front of him kept growing. He got everything on his list and more. Tyler opened his 2 presents from my parents. A coloring book and a package of markers. That was it. He smiled and said thank you because I raised him to be grateful. But I could see the confusion in his eyes. He kept looking at Braden's pile and then at his own 2 items. He did not say anything, but I knew he was hurting. Then came the big moment. My dad brought out one more present for Braden. It was a large box and Braden started screaming with excitement. He tore into it and pulled out the newest gaming console. The one that retails for $500. The one that my mom asked me to help pay for. Braden was jumping around showing everyone and my sister was recording it all on her phone. Tyler looked at me with these big sad eyes. He did not understand why his cousin got all these presents and he got a coloring book. I did not know what to say to him. My mom must have seen my face because she quickly said that Santa must have thought Braden was extra good this year. Like that explained the massive difference. I was trying to hold it together for Tyler's sake. I was telling myself to just get through the day and we could leave. But then my dad made it worse. He pulled me aside again and said he hoped I was not upset. He said kids need to learn that life is not fair and that Tyler would benefit from understanding that early. He actually smirked when he said it. Like he was teaching my son some valuable lesson by showing him he was worth less than his cousin. I just nodded. I did not trust myself to speak. I went over to Tyler and quietly told him to start gathering his things because we needed to head home. He asked why and I said we had plans later. He did not argue because he could probably sense I was upset. My sister asked where we were going and I said we had to leave. My mom looked annoyed and said we always leave early. I did not respond. We got in the car and Tyler started crying. He asked me why Braden got so many presents and he only got 2. He asked if he was bad this year. He asked if Santa did not like him anymore. My heart broke into a million pieces. I pulled over and hugged him and told him he was the best kid in the world and that sometimes adults make bad choices and it has nothing to do with him. We went home and I let Tyler open the presents I had gotten him. I could not afford anything huge, but I got him some nice art supplies and books and a puzzle he wanted. He was happy with them, but I could tell the damage was done. He spent the rest of the day quiet and I knew he was processing what happened. That night after Tyler went to bed, I sat in the dark and cried. I cried for my son who did not deserve this. I cried for his mom who would have been furious if she saw how her baby was treated. I cried for myself because I was stupid enough to give my family money that they used to spoil my nephew while ignoring my son. I could not sleep that night. I kept thinking about my dad's smirk and my mom's excuse about Santa. I thought about all the times over the years they had chosen Lauren over me. All the times they had favored Braden over Tyler. I thought about the $200 for Christmas dinner and the $150 for the gaming console. Money I needed. Money I gave them because I thought we were family. The next morning I woke up angry. Not sad anymore but furious. I made Tyler breakfast and we had a good morning together. He seemed better after sleeping. While he was watching cartoons I opened Facebook. I had been thinking all night about what to write. I knew I wanted to say something but I had to be careful. I did not want to sound petty or whiny. I wanted to tell the truth. I wrote a post. I kept it simple and factual. I said that I was disappointed in how Christmas went this year. I said that my parents claimed they could not afford gifts for their grandchildren due to financial struggles. I said that I contributed money to help with the holiday expenses because I wanted to support my family. I said that on Christmas morning my son received a coloring book and markers while his cousin received hundreds of dollars worth of presents, including a gaming console. I said that when I expressed concern I was told that my son needed to learn life is not fair. I said that I would be taking a step back from family gatherings to protect my son from this treatment. I did not name anyone specifically, but anyone who knew us would know who I was talking about. I posted it and put my phone down. I did not expect much. Maybe a few supportive comments from friends. I went about my day with Tyler. We went to the park and got ice cream and had a good time. I did not check my phone for hours. When I finally looked at my phone around noon, it had exploded. My post had been shared over 300 times. There were hundreds of comments. People were tagging my parents and my sister. Friends from high school I had not talked to in years were commenting about how awful this was. Some of Tyler's former teachers commented offering support. People were outraged on our behalf. My phone started ringing. First it was my mom, then my sister, then my dad, then my aunt, then my cousin. Everyone in my family was calling and texting. I did not answer any of them. I read through the comments on my post and saw that people were not holding back. They were calling my parents terrible grandparents. They were saying my sister was spoiled and entitled. They were sharing their own stories of family favoritism. Someone had screenshotted my post and shared it on Twitter. It got picked up by one of those family drama accounts and suddenly thousands of people were seeing it. The comments there were even more brutal. People were saying my parents should be ashamed. People were calling out the gaming console specifically and doing the math on how much they spent on Braden versus Tyler. My sister posted a response on Facebook. She said people did not understand the full story and that I was making them look bad over a misunderstanding. She said Braden's gifts were from multiple people, not just my parents. She said I was being dramatic and hurtful. But people in the comments were not buying it. They pointed out that even if the gifts were from multiple people, my parents still gave Tyler almost nothing while facilitating this massive difference. My mom called me 15 times in 2 hours. She finally left a voicemail crying and saying I was destroying the family. She said I had no right to air private family business online. She said people were saying horrible things about them and it was all my fault. She said I needed to take the post down immediately and post an apology. I did not take it down. Instead, I added an edit. I clarified that I had contributed $200 to the family Christmas fund and $150 specifically toward my nephew's gaming console. I said this was money I had saved for my son's upcoming birthday. I said I gave this money because I was told my parents were struggling financially and needed help. I said I now realized this money was used to buy expensive gifts for one child while the other received a coloring book. That edit made it so much worse for them. Now people knew I had actually paid for part of the console that my son did not get. The comments went crazy. People were calling my parents manipulative and saying they scammed me. Some people said I should take them to small claims court. Others said I should cut them off completely. My dad sent me a text. It was long and angry. He said I was acting like a child and embarrassing the family. He said what happened on Christmas was not that big of a deal and I was blowing it out of proportion. He said if I did not take the post down, I would not be welcome at family events anymore. I replied with one word. Okay. My sister's husband called me. He was actually apologetic. He said he did not know my parents had asked me for money. He said if he had known, he would not have accepted the help with the console. He said he thought my parents paid for it themselves. He said Lauren was furious with me, but he understood why I was upset. That phone call was the only one that felt genuine. The post kept spreading. By the evening, it had been shared over 1,000 times. A local news station even reached out asking if they could interview me about family favoritism during the holidays. I declined because I did not want Tyler to see me on TV talking about this. But the fact that they reached out showed how big this had gotten. My aunt, who is my mom's sister, called me. She said she believed me and that she had seen the favoritism for years. She said my mom had always babied Lauren and it got worse after she had Braden. She said my parents talked constantly about Braden but rarely mentioned Tyler. She said she tried to say something before but my mom got defensive. She said she was glad I finally stood up for myself and Tyler. That conversation meant a lot to me. Confirmed I was not crazy or overreacting. Someone else in the family saw what was happening and validated my feelings. My aunt said she was going to make more effort to be involved in Tyler's life and that she wanted to take him out for a special day to make up for Christmas. I almost cried talking to her. By the next morning, my post had gone fully viral. It was on Reddit. It was on TikTok. People were making reaction videos. One video had over 2 million views of someone reading my post and commenting on how terrible my family was. I never expected this level of attention. Part of me felt vindicated. Another part felt guilty for exposing my family like this. My phone was still blowing up with calls and messages from family. Most of them were angry that I made them look bad. A few were supportive and said it was about time someone called out the favoritism. My grandmother, who is 86, called and said she was disappointed in my parents. She said Tyler deserved better and that she was ashamed of how they treated him. She asked me to bring Tyler to visit her and she would make him a proper Christmas. My mom showed up at my house. I did not answer the door at first, but she kept knocking. Tyler was at school, so I finally opened it. She looked terrible. She had been crying and she immediately started begging me to take the post down. She said their church friends saw it. Their neighbors saw it. People at my dad's work saw it. She said they were being judged everywhere they went. I told her that is what happens when you treat your grandchild badly and get exposed for it. She said I did not understand and that they did love Tyler. I asked her how giving him a coloring book while his cousin got $500 worth of stuff showed love. She said it was complicated and that Lauren needed more help. I said needing help did not mean Tyler should be punished. My mom tried a different approach. She said if I took the post down, they would make it up to Tyler. She said they would take him shopping and get him whatever he wanted. I said it was too late for that and that Tyler did not need their pity gifts. I said what he needed was to not be around people who made him feel less than his cousin. She started crying harder and said I was being cruel. I told her that she and Dad were the cruel ones. I said telling a 7-year-old who lost his mother that life is not fair because you chose to spoil his cousin instead of treating them equally was cruel. I said taking my money under false pretenses was cruel. I said years of favoritism and neglect was cruel. I said I was done protecting their feelings while they hurt my son. She left crying. I felt bad for maybe 5 minutes. Then I remembered Tyler's face on Christmas morning and the guilt went away. I did not owe them anything. They had shown me exactly who they were and I finally believed them. My sister sent me a series of angry texts. She said I ruined Christmas and now Braden was upset because people were saying mean things about him online. She said I was jealous of her and always had been. She said just because my life was sad because my wife died did not mean she should suffer. That comment about Tyler's mom made me see red. I blocked her number. The viral post started getting media attention. A few parenting blogs wrote articles about it. They did not use my name, but they discussed the situation and whether I was right to post publicly. Most of the articles sided with me. They talked about how damaging favoritism is to children. They discussed the ethics of asking one family member to fund gifts for another. It was surreal seeing my personal drama analyzed by strangers. My boss called me into his office. Someone had sent him the viral post and recognized details that made them think it was me. He asked if I was okay and if I needed any time off. I said I was fine and apologized if it reflected badly on the company. He said it did not and actually he thought I handled it well. He said he went through something similar with his own family. It felt good to have support from unexpected places. Tyler's school counselor called me. She said she saw the post going around and wanted to check in. She said Tyler had seemed a bit down after the break and she wanted to make sure he was okay. I appreciated her reaching out. We talked about ways to support Tyler through this. She said the school could provide some counseling sessions if needed. I said I would think about it. A week after Christmas, my parents sent a formal apology via email. It was clearly written carefully and probably reviewed by multiple people. They said they were sorry for the hurt they caused Tyler. They said they did not realize how their actions would be perceived. They said they wanted to make amends and rebuild trust. Felt hollow and forced. Like they were sorry they got caught, not sorry for what they did. I did not respond to the email. Instead, I screenshot it and sent it to my aunt. She said it was the most corporate non-apology she had ever seen. She said they were only sorry because they were being publicly shamed. She said real change would require accountability and action, not just words. I agreed. My post eventually stopped spreading as much. The internet moved on to the next drama. But the damage to my family was permanent. My parents were barely speaking to me. My sister blocked me on everything. Extended family members were divided. Some supported me. Others thought I went too far by posting publicly. I took Tyler to see my grandmother like she asked. She had presents for him and made his favorite cookies. She spent the whole afternoon with him and showed him photo albums of his mom. She told him stories about when his mom was little. Tyler loved it. On the way home, he said Grandma was his favorite. It broke my heart that he had to qualify which grandparent he liked because the others treated him badly. My aunt started having Tyler over regularly. She took him to museums and movies and just spent quality time with him. She said she wanted him to know that some family members valued him. Her kids, who are teenagers, were also great with Tyler. They played games with him and included him in their activities. Tyler started smiling more and seemed happier. I started therapy to deal with everything. My therapist said I did the right thing by setting boundaries. She said going public was a valid choice when private conversations failed. She said my priority needed to be Tyler's well-being and that removing him from toxic family dynamics was healthy. She also said I needed to process my own feelings about being the less favored child. We talked about how losing Tyler's mom amplified everything. How I thought my family would step up, but instead they stepped back. How I felt alone in raising my son. How the favoritism hurt me as much as it hurt Tyler. Therapy was helping me understand that I did not cause this situation. My parents and sister did through their choices and actions. Tyler and I started our own Christmas traditions. We decided that from now on Christmas would just be the two of us. We would make a special breakfast and open presents and watch movies all day. No stress about visiting family. No comparing ourselves to others. Just us enjoying the day together. When I told Tyler, he seemed relieved. I did eventually respond to my parents' email. I kept it short. I said I appreciated the apology, but that words were not enough. I said if they wanted a relationship with Tyler, they needed to show through consistent actions that they valued him equally to Braden. I said that meant equal time and attention and effort. I said if they could not do that, then we would not be participating in family events. I said the choice was theirs. They did not respond. That told me everything I needed to know. They were not willing to actually change. They just wanted me to rug sweep so things could go back to normal. But normal was them treating my son badly and me accepting it. I was not doing that anymore. My sister's husband reached out again. He said he talked to Lauren about everything. He said she was in denial about the favoritism, but he was not. He said he saw how my parents treated the boys differently. He said moving forward he was going to make sure Braden had a relationship with Tyler outside of our parents' influence. He suggested the cousins have play dates, just the four of us adults and the two kids. I said I would think about it. I decided to give it a try. We met at a neutral location like a park or arcade. My sister was frosty toward me but civil. The boys played together and had fun. It was awkward, but it worked. Tyler got to have a relationship with his cousin without the toxic grandparent dynamic. Braden was actually a sweet kid when he was not being spoiled rotten. The viral post changed things permanently. My parents' reputation in the family and community was damaged. People saw them differently. They could not pretend to be perfect grandparents anymore. Some people said I was wrong to expose them publicly. But most people understood that sometimes you have to shine a light on bad behavior to make it stop. I learned a lot through this experience. I learned that keeping the peace is not worth sacrificing your child's well-being. I learned that family does not have a right to treat you badly just because you are related. I learned that speaking up even when it is hard and messy is sometimes necessary. I learned that I was stronger than I thought. Tyler is doing better now. He does not ask about why grandma and grandpa do not visit anymore. He is happy with the family members who do show up for him. He talks about his mom more often and seems more secure. My therapist says removing him from the toxic dynamic was the best thing I could have done for him. I agree. Looking back, I do not regret posting what I posted. It was the truth. It needed to be said. Did it blow up bigger than I expected? Yes. Did it cause family drama? Yes. But it also protected my son and set boundaries and made people aware of how their actions affected a child. Those outcomes were worth the temporary discomfort. To anyone reading this who is dealing with family favoritism, I want you to know that you are not obligated to subject yourself or your children to unfair treatment. You can set boundaries. You can speak up. You can walk away if necessary. Family is supposed to lift you up, not tear you down. If they cannot do that, then they do not deserve access to you or your kids. My dad's comment about life not being fair still makes me angry. He was right that life is not fair. But that does not mean adults should make it worse for children. That does not mean grandparents should play favorites. That does not mean we should accept bad treatment because that is just how things are. We can demand better. We should demand better. Tyler asked me the other day if I was sad about Grandma and Grandpa. I told him the truth in a kid-friendly way. I said sometimes adults make choices that hurt other people, and when that happens we have to protect ourselves. I said it is okay to love people and also have boundaries with them. I said he did nothing wrong and that he was loved by many people who showed it through their actions. He said okay and went back to playing. Kids are resilient. He will be fine. We will be fine. I am building a life for us that is based on respect and mutual care and healthy relationships. My parents and sister can either get on board with that or they can stay away. Either way, Tyler and I will be okay. One last thing. The gaming console my nephew got? It broke after 2 weeks because Braden threw it during a tantrum. My sister called my mom crying about needing money to fix or replace it. My mom said no. Apparently the public shaming taught her at least one lesson about enabling bad behavior. My aunt told me about it and we both laughed. Sometimes karma works fast. I am closing this chapter of my life and moving forward. I have a son to raise and a life to build. I do not have time for people who do not value us. Tyler deserves better. I deserve better. And I am finally in a place where I believe that and act accordingly. Thank you for reading this very long story. Writing it all out helped me process everything. To those who supported me when this went viral, thank you. Your comments and messages meant more than you know. To my family who might read this, I stand by everything I said. The ball is in your court if you want to fix this. Otherwise, we are perfectly happy without you. The post is still up, by the way. I never took it down. It serves as a reminder to me that I am willing to stand up for my son no matter what. And maybe it will help another parent in a similar situation feel less alone. Sometimes the truth is uncomfortable, but it is always worth telling. Update. It has been 3 months since my original post and Christmas incident. I honestly did not think I would be updating, but enough has happened that I wanted to share where things stand now. For those who followed my story, thank you for the overwhelming support. It helped more than you know during a really difficult time. First, the good news. Tyler is thriving. After we stopped going to family events and spending time with my parents, his whole demeanor changed. He is more confident and happy. His teacher commented that he seems more engaged in class. He talks about his feelings more openly with me. Removing him from that toxic environment was absolutely the right call. My aunt has become like a grandmother figure to Tyler. She has him over every other weekend and they have special traditions now. She takes him to the library and they pick out books together. She teaches him to bake. She listens to him talk about his interests. This is what grandparent love should look like, and I am grateful he has that from her. My grandmother is also spending more time with Tyler. She is 86 but still sharp and active. She has been teaching him about his mom and sharing memories. She gave him a box of his mom's childhood things that she had been saving. Tyler keeps it in his room and looks through it often. Having that connection to his mom through his great-grandmother is precious. Now for the complicated stuff. About a month after everything happened, my parents showed up at my door with my sister and brother-in-law. They said they wanted to talk and work things out. I hesitated but let them in. Tyler was at a friend's house so we could talk freely. My mom immediately started crying and apologizing. She said she had been doing a lot of reflecting and realized how badly they treated Tyler. She said she was ashamed of herself. My dad was quieter, but he also apologized. He said his comment about life not being fair was cruel and he regretted it. My sister sat there looking uncomfortable but said nothing at first. I told them I appreciated the apologies, but I needed to see changed behavior, not just hear words. I said if they wanted to be in Tyler's life, they had to commit to treating him equally to Braden. That meant equal time and equal attention and equal financial contributions if they were giving gifts. No more excuses about money being tight while one kid got showered with presents. My brother-in-law spoke up. He said he had been talking to Lauren about the favoritism and that they were committed to making changes too. He said they did not want Braden growing up thinking he was better than Tyler or that he deserved more. He said they were going to teach Braden about fairness and empathy. I appreciated that he seemed to actually get it. My sister finally spoke. She said she was sorry for what she said about Tyler's mom. She said it was cruel and she did not mean it. She said she had been defensive because she felt attacked and she lashed out. She said she understood now that the favoritism hurt Tyler and that she wanted to do better. Her apology felt more genuine than I expected. We talked for over 2 hours. They asked what they could do to make it right. I gave them specific expectations. Equal birthday gifts for both boys. Equal time spent at activities and events. No more asking me for money while spending lavishly on Lauren and Braden. If they could not afford gifts for both kids, then neither kid should get expensive things. They agreed to everything. My dad said he would set up a spreadsheet to track time and money spent on each grandkid to make sure it was equal. That felt a bit extreme but also showed he was taking it seriously. My mom said she wanted to start a weekly dinner with Tyler where just the two of them spent time together. She said she wanted to know him better as an individual. I told them I would give them a chance but that I was watching. I said one instance of backsliding and we were done. I said Tyler's well-being was my only priority and I would not let him be hurt again. They said they understood and that they would prove themselves through actions. The first few weeks were awkward. My parents were trying hard but it felt forced. They were overly enthusiastic about everything Tyler did. They were clearly walking on eggshells around me. But I could see genuine effort. My mom started coming to Tyler's soccer practices. My dad took him fishing. They were showing up in ways they had not before. Tyler was confused at first. He asked me why Grandma and Grandpa were suddenly around so much. I told him they realized they had not been spending enough time with him and wanted to fix that. I did not give him details about the drama because I did not want to burden him. He seemed happy to have their attention. The real test came with Braden's birthday in February. I watched carefully to see what kind of party and gifts he got. My parents threw him a small party at their house with family. Nothing extravagant. The gifts were reasonable. A new bike and some books and toys. Nice but not over the top like Christmas had been. Then Tyler's birthday came in March. I was nervous about how they would handle it. My parents threw him the exact same size party at their house. They got him a bike that was the same brand and price as Braden's. They got him books and toys that were equivalent in value. My mom made his favorite cake. The whole day they focused on making Tyler feel special. Tyler was so happy. After the party he told me it was his best birthday ever. He said Grandma and Grandpa were acting different in a good way. He said he felt like they really liked him now. That comment broke my heart because it confirmed he had felt unloved before. But it also made me hopeful that things were actually changing. My relationship with my sister has slowly improved. We are not close but we are civil. She makes an effort now to include Tyler in things with Braden. She invited him to Braden's baseball games. She had both boys over for a sleepover. She texts me asking how Tyler is doing. It feels like she is genuinely trying. The most surprising change has been Braden. With less spoiling, he is becoming a nicer kid. He shares better. He is less demanding. He treats Tyler like an actual friend instead of someone he tolerates. My brother-in-law told me they put Braden in therapy to work on his entitlement issues. That decision impressed me. Not everything is perfect. There are still moments where I can see the old patterns trying to emerge. My mom will start to make an excuse for why she cannot come to Tyler's event and then catch herself. My dad will almost say something dismissive and stop himself. They are working against years of ingrained behavior. But they are trying. The viral post is still up. People still comment on it occasionally. My parents asked me once if I would take it down now that things were better. I said no. I said it served as accountability and a record of what happened. They were not happy but they did not push. I think they understand it is part of the consequences of their actions. Extended family has slowly come around. Some relatives apologized for not supporting me initially. Others admitted they saw the favoritism but did not want to get involved. A few still think I overreacted by posting publicly. I have accepted that not everyone will agree with how I handled it. I am at peace with my choices.